Chapter 1 Save people among the rolling hills, a trail passes through the mountains. Wei Ruo was walking on the path with a bamboo basket on her back. The weather in early spring was perfect, and the sunset glow reflected on her fair face. Yunping Mountain is far away for her, but there are many rare wild herbs in the mountain, so it is worthwhile for her to come all the way early in the morning. After coming out of the trail at the foot of the mountain and turning into the official road, Wei Ruo heard a group of noisy voices not far away. A luxurious carriage was parked on the side of the road, surrounded by many attendants. There was a great battle. Wei Ruo stopped, and after thinking for a while, with the mentality that more things are worse than less things, he pretended not to see, bowed his head and continued to move forward. However, these people still found her. A man in Chinese clothes walked over quickly and stood in front of Wei Ruo. Where is the nearest medical center? The voice is urgent, and the expression is a little scary. There is no medical clinic nearby. The nearest one is in the county seat, which is 70 or 80 miles away. Wei Ruo answered with a bow. What about Wenpo? Is there a village near here with Wenpo? The man asked again. No. Wei Ruo's answer made the man's face even more ugly. Seeing that the man stopped asking questions, Wei Ruo didn't want to meddle in other people's business, so he turned around and planned to leave. Just 2 steps away, I heard a woman's screams from inside the carriage, and the anxious voices of the maids. Madam, hold on, Madam is fine, we will find the doctor soon. Foot, I see a foot, what should I do? It's a foot. It's about to kill someone. Water, bring hot water and ginseng tea. Wei Ruo frowned and couldn't help but stop. The person in the car should be giving birth and the situation is critical. Do you want to take care of it? It's better not to worry about it, it's easy to cause trouble if you manage it, and this group of people doesn't seem easy to mess with. Just as he decided to continue walking, there was another scream of a woman. How does this make her go? Life is at stake, as a child. Wei Ruo glanced back at his bamboo basket, pondered for 2 seconds, and finally couldn't hold back, and chose to turn around and walk back. Seeing Wei Ruo approaching the carriage, the followers immediately stopped her. I know a little bit of medical skills, and there are some freshly picked herbs in the bamboo basket. If you choose to believe, let me go into the carriage right now, or I will leave now. Wei Ruo succinctly gave the man 2 choices. Answer quickly, if he says he won't treat her, she will turn around and leave immediately, saving trouble. The man's mind is dumb at the moment. He heard the maid said that he saw the feet. If the feet come out first when a woman gives birth, it means half of her body has entered the gate of hell. At this time, there was another screaming sound from inside the carriage, hitting the man's heart heavily. The man has no time to think anymore. I'll give you a chance to try, keep my wife and children, and the prosperity and wealth are indispensable to you. With approval, Wei Ruo stepped into the carriage. In the carriage, a gorgeously dressed woman was moaning in pain, with sweat all over her head, and her hands were tightly clutching the maid next to her. Wei Ruo lowered his head and looked down at the woman. The amniotic fluid had already broken, but the fetus was in an abnormal position and the labor was difficult. Fortunately, the amniotic fluid has not flowed out, and the fetus legs have not yet fully entered the birth canal. Wei Ruo took out a cloth bag from the bamboo basket, which contained acupuncture kits and some commonly used medicines. Take 2 dried ginseng slices and take them out for the woman to suck, and tell the maid to get some water, preferably sugar water tonic soup, for the woman to feed. Wei Ruo comforted the woman. Don't cry, don't shout, save your strength, I will give you an injection to relieve the pain, and then help you to position the fetus. Don't be nervous, just relax as much as possible. What? Upright fetal position? The fetal position is correct at this time? Do you still need a needle? The maidservants on both sides turned pale when they heard this. This is something that the most experienced women in Beijing dare not do. At this time, the fetal position is too dangerous. Wei Ruo didn't talk nonsense, and quickly washed his hands with the hot water on the carriage, opened the acupuncture bag, picked up the thin and long silver needles, untied the woman's clothes, and accurately inserted the needles in several positions. After a while, more than a dozen silver needles were stuck on the woman's body, which eased the woman's pain. Then, under the disbelieving eyes of the two servant girls, they stuffed the child's protruding feet back. The pupils of the maids trembled, and they almost screamed out. Wei Ruo then put his hands on his belly, gestured as if doing Tai Chi, and pressed the fetus in the abdomen to rotate slowly. The two maids in the carriage saw this scene and were once again speechless in shock. The child in their stomach was really moving. Time passed by minute, and the people waiting outside the carriage became more and more anxious, as if they were being roasted on the stove. Is that girl really okay? Can you? What if it doesn't work, how? God bless, Buddha bless. An hour later, the cry of a baby broke through the haze that enveloped everyone. Everyone looked at the carriage in great surprise, and burst into bursts of cheers. Accompanied by the cheers from outsiders, Wei Ruo in the carriage took care of the child's umbilical cord, and then cleaned up the mother to stop the bleeding. Wiping the sweat from his forehead, Wei Ruo let out a long breath, and then dragged his tired body out of the carriage. As soon as he finished speaking, he could go in and see his wife. The man in Chinese clothes couldn't wait to get on the carriage to see his wife. After a while, under the reminder of his wife, the man got out of the car and came to look for Wei Ruo. He wanted to thank Wei Ruo and give him a big reward, but found that the woman who had just saved his wife had disappeared. He clearly promised that woman that he would give her glory and wealth. Why did he leave without saying goodbye? Walking on the small road home, Wei Ruo began to feel pain in the flesh. Just gave the woman some ginseng slices, and used herbal medicine to stop bleeding. It was worth a lot of money. Wei Ruo secretly thought, next time something like this happens, she must ask for some reward. Wei Ruo walked towards home with a bamboo basket on his back. He could finish the journey home in more than an hour, but he exhausted too much energy when saving people, and he couldn't walk the rest of the way. 3 hours later, a separate courtyard appeared in front of Wei Ruo. This is the place where Wei Ruo lived for 10 years, pitch black tiles, grey walls, chrome blue bricks, vaguely dilapidated. It's Kixi Festival, what are you guys doing? I'm posting a new article, end of this chapter. Chapter 2 Life Experience. The maid Xiaomei stood at the door like a watchman, saw Wei Ruo from a distance, trotted forward, saw Wei Ruo carrying a bamboo basket of herbs, and said in a distressed and slightly complaining tone, "Miss, why did you run to the mountain alone again? How dangerous it is!" While speaking, Xiaomei had skillfully taken Wei Ruo's bamboo basket and carried it on her back. "Good Mimi, I didn't go up the dangerous cliff, really. There are many rare medicinal herbs on the mountain, which are worth a lot of money. If I don't pick them, I will be reckless." "That won't work. Your body is not as strong as mine. Even if you want to go, you have to take me with you. The master you invited taught me so much kung fu, I have to use it. Who will cook for me when I bring you up the mountain? My good plums and my 5 internal organs temple are all counting on you." Wei Ruo said coquettishly. Today's trip was exhausting for her. Her stamina bar had been exhausted after running long distances to collect herbs, and she was about to be useless after giving birth. "I'll make it for you when I come back. You ran to the mountains alone, and I was worried at home. The rice couldn't be cooked properly, and I couldn't tell the difference between salt and sugar." Xiaomei stomped her feet. "I'm hungry." Wei Ruo looked up at Xiaomei eagerly. "Miss, you changed the subject again." Xiaomei was helpless. "Don't starve me, you see I'm so thin." Wei Ruo rubbed his belly, implying that it was in place. When he was just saving people, he didn't even frown when he was in such a critical situation, but now he is acting cute with his maid for a meal. Okay, it's been done a long time ago, it's all simmering in the stove, it's hot. I'll go and serve it to you. Xiaomei turned around and entered the kitchen while muttering. There is no way, who made their lady's food-hungry eyes so painful? I can't stand it. The yard where Wei Ruo lives is full of various plants, including ornamental flowers, medicinal materials, and crops. The only space is reserved for a stone table. When the weather is good, Wei Ruo likes to eat, drink tea and bask in the sun at the stone table. This is a separate courtyard of the He family, and there are only 2 people living here, Wei Ruo and her maid, Xiaomei. If Wei Ruo crossed over, she became a supporting actress in the book. In the original book, she is the daughter of the Wei family, a family of officials, who was taken away by the He family, a family of merchants. When he was raised in the He family of merchants until he was 3 years old, he was ordered by a fortune teller to say that he would kill his parents, so he was sent to this other courtyard. Only Wei Ruo's nanny and maid Xiaomei came together. After that, the He family sent 5 taels of silver every month, and they stopped asking. Even during the holidays, Wei Ruo never saw them again. Now Wei Ruo is 13 years old, and has lived in this Zhuangzi for 10 full years. For Wei Ruo, she likes life in Zhuangzi very much, and likes dealing with the villagers. She doesn't want to go back to He's house, nor to her biological parents' house, because in the original book, whether she is in He's house or in her biological parents' house, she has a very difficult life. Early next morning, after breakfast, Wei Ruo and Xiaomei went out together. The other courtyard where Wei Ruo lives is backed by hills, and there are large tracts of farmland just outside the door. It is the busy season of farming, and the villagers are busy transplanting rice seedlings in the fields. When Wei Ruo passed by, the villagers greeted her one after another. Ruo, my boss hunted a rabbit up the mountain today, I left you a rabbit leg, remember to ask Xiaomei to take it back later. Miss Ruoer, I picked some water celery today, and I will share it with you. Let Xiaomei take it. Miss Ruoer, the medicine you gave last time is really useful, my tiger will be fine after taking it. Wei Ruo greeted them and came to his field. Like everyone else, she took off her shoes, stepped barefoot into the muddy rice fields, and started planting rice seedlings. Xiaomei persuaded Wei Ruo several times to rest beside her and let her do it, but Wei Ruo insisted on doing it herself. Because she has a reason to plant it herself. Wei Ruo has a space, which appeared during time travel. The entrance of the space is in the palm of her left hand, with a red spot, like a cinnabar mole. There is a simple thatched hut in the space. At first, the hut was empty and there was nothing. There is nothingness outside the thatched hut, a vast expanse of whiteness, as if shrouded in a thick fog. Later, Wei Ruo began to decorate the thatched hut. Over the course of several years, he added furniture, made arrangements, and stored items from the hut. As Wei Ruo built the interior of the thatched hut, the dense fog outside the house receded a bit, and a square of land about 2 meters by 2 meters appeared. Rice was planted on the land when it appeared. So Wei Ruo started planting rice, and when the rice was ripe and harvested, Wei Ruo gained experience points. After planting several times, the experience points were full, the space was upgraded, the thick fog in front of the house receded again, and a new piece of land of the same size appeared, and sweet potatoes were planted on the land at this time. At this time, Wei Ruo understood that her own space can be upgraded, and the experience needed to upgrade is obtained through her planting. After the experience value is full, she can upgrade. After the upgrade, new land and new seeds will appear. This is very similar to an online game Happy Farm that has been played for many years. You can gain experience by planting. After the experience is full, you can upgrade to get new plantable land and new seeds. Later, Wei Ruo took out the rice seeds in the space and planted them, and she also gained experience after harvesting, but only if she planted them herself, and the part that was distributed to the villagers could not gain experience. So whether she is in the space or outside the space, she needs to fight in person. The master and servant were busy, when suddenly two nuns and a group of people appeared on the field beside Wei Ruo. Seeing Wei Ruo standing barefoot in the mud with his face covered in mud, the two nuns showed disgusted expressions in unison. What does this look like? All the maids in the house are more decent than her. We are the servants of the captain's mansion, and we are here to pick up the lady back to the mansion under the order of the master and his wife. The nanny explained the purpose of coming. The captain's mansion? Xiaomei looked surprised, and asked, "You guys are mistaken, my young lady lives in the county town, and I don't know any school lieutenants. It used to be, but from now on, it's no longer." One of the nuns said, "My master has already investigated clearly. When we were in Haining Mansion, the He family and our Mrs. Xiao Yi gave birth in Guanyin Temple at the same time, and met rogues. Going into the mountain, I hugged the wrong child in my panic." Another nun added, "Your adoptive parents' family, that is, the He family who does business in the county, has agreed to us to pick you up." Hearing that, Xiaomei opened her mouth wide and was too surprised to speak. End of this chapter. Chapter 3 Biological parents came to pick him up. Wei Ruo looked at the two nuns and remained silent for a while. Just when the two nuns who came to pick him up thought that Wei Ruo was too surprised and overwhelmed, Wei Ruo opened his mouth and replied in a calm tone, "Got it." Knowing that she is not an abandoned son of a merchant's family but a daughter of the school captain's mansion, her status has risen a big level all of a sudden, and her reaction is so calm. The two nuns looked at each other suspiciously. "Miss, you can hear me clearly. We are from the captain's mansion. The ancestors of the Wei family have made meritorious deeds. You follow us back, and you will be the lady of the official family in the future." The nanny reiterated, thinking that Wei Ruo didn't understand. What does Xiao Yi's mansion mean, so he behaves so calmly? "Well, I heard it." Wei Ruo still had no waves on his face. The reason why Wei Ruo is so calm is because she already knew that such a day would come. What if she is not calm? The He family, who sent themselves to other courtyards to fend for themselves, had no feelings for her at all, and it was their wish to have a connection with the captain's mansion because of this erroneous relationship. And the Wei family is a family of officials after all. Once they know about the wrongdoing, they will definitely not let their biological daughter live outside and cause people to talk about it. As for Wei Ruo himself, he naturally doesn't want to go to the Wei family, but in this world where the hierarchy of monarchs and ministers is strict, there is no way Wei Ruo can't go back if he doesn't want to. "Then miss, you can go with us. We will take you back to the school captain's mansion to meet your biological parents. You don't have to go to the He family. Our master has already made it clear to them that they are concerned about you returning to school with us. The Wei mansion has no objections." Seeing that Wei Ruo had heard clearly, the nanny urged. "This countryside is full of snakes, rats, insects and ants. It is dirty and poor. It is not a place for people to stay." Of course Wei Ruo knew that the He family had no objection to this matter. They had no feelings for themselves, and they were eager to cling to the colonel's mansion. Naturally, the colonel's mansion would do whatever they wanted. "I need to go back and pack my things first." "You don't need to take the things here, they are all in the captain's mansion. What good things can she have here? It's better to throw it to the captain's mansion and use a new one. I use my own stuff." Although the two nuns have opinions in their hearts, it is not good to express their dissatisfaction to the future master of the family, so they can only follow her wishes. Wei Ruo came up from the rice field after planting the seedlings in his hands, tidied them up, and led Xiaomei back to the house to tidy them up. Different from the dilapidated exterior walls, the furnishings in the house are much more refined. I packed up my things, and brought all the valuable things, as well as the jars Wei Ruo stored in the warehouse, and all the dried medicinal materials. Finally, he entrusted the newly planted rice field to the couple of Lao Li's family at the entrance of the village, and left a letter asking Lao Li to hand it over to her nanny. Seeing Wei Ruo's packed luggage, the two nuns showed ugly expressions, especially those dark and broken jars. If he really grew up in the countryside, he has only so much experience, and a few broken jars are considered good things. I wanted to persuade Wei Ruo not to bring it. It would be useless to bring such things to the captain's mansion, but then I thought that Wei Ruo had no knowledge, and they might not understand what they said, and it would not be good to waste their words. Why not don't say anything, let her go. So under the arrangement of the two nuns, Wei Ruo's luggage was loaded into the carriage, and Wei Ruo and Xiaomei got into the carriage and set off for Xiao Yi's mansion. This trip took 3 days. 3 days later, Wei Ruo walked from the small mountain village of Huibei town, where he had lived for 10 years, to Xingshan County, Taizhou Prefecture. Wei Ruo's biological father, Wei Mingting, served as a school lieutenant here. The ancestors of the Wei family had military generals and were granted the title of Uncle Loyalty, but it was passed down to the generation of Grandpa Wei Ruo. The Wei family had 3 sons in Wei Ruo's father's generation. The eldest son, Wei Minghong, only passed the examination of the scholar, but has not yet passed the exam, so he found a job in Beijing from the 8th rank. The second son Wei Mingyang is white, and now he only helps manage the family property, but he has been in a state of continuous losses in recent years. Wei Ruo's father, Wei Mingting, was the 3rd son. He joined the martial arts in his early years, and now he is the most accomplished of the 3 brothers. Wei Ruo was led by 2 nuns to enter through the side door, passed through the hanging flower door, walked in along the corridor, and finally came to the yard where Wei Ruo's mother Yun lived. As soon as Wei Ruo stepped over the threshold of the main house, Yun hurried up and hugged Wei Ruo. Wei Ruo's body froze, and his limbs were as motionless as if they had been poured with lead. Yun didn't speak, but touched Wei Ruo's face while crying. His eyes were red. Feeling that the neck was soaked in warm liquid, Wei Ruo was slightly taken aback. Is she crying? Even though he was mentally prepared, when he felt Yun's real tears, Wei Ruo still felt an unexpected throbbing in his heart. Maybe it was affected by the memory of the original owner, or he remembered his mother who died tragically in the previous life. Mother, don't be sad, isn't it a good thing for my sister to come back? We should be happy. The eldest son Wei Yuchen came forward to appease Yun and prevent her from being too sad. It has been 10 days since she learned that the child was wronged, and the mother shed more than a few tears. Their mother seldom shed tears on weekdays, but this time, she cried and cried. Under the eldest son's persuasion, Yun slowed down. Looked at Wei Ruo carefully again, seeing that she was wearing burlap clothes and her figure was slender, Yun said distressedly, "You have suffered all these years. Mother will make it up to you." At this moment, Wei Qingguan came up and knelt down facing Wei Ruo. Without waiting for everyone to react, they kowtowed. Seeing this, Yun hurried over to help her up. "Wan Wan, what are you doing?" "Mother, don't stop me, this is what I owe my sister. I know that no matter how long I kneel, I can't offset the fact that I have taken advantage of my sister's blessings these years, but at least I should do something." Wei Qingguan had tears in her eyes, and her words were sincere. Seeing her like this, Yun's heart ached too. What's wrong with a childish child? Both children are innocent. The fault is fate, otherwise they should be the parents. Wei Yuchen also showed a sad expression, but withdrew the hand that was stretched out to help Wei Qingguan. Wei Ruo looked at Wei Qingguan who was kneeling in front of her, and recognized that she was the delicate heroine in the original book based on her behavior and dialogue. The book depicts her delicate body, shy and coquettish, tender like water, and men can't help but feel pity when they read it. Wei Ruo remembered the scene of Wei Qingguan kneeling down when the original owner entered the house for the first time in the original book, but the original owner was not so calm, and angrily accused Wei Qingguan of taking over her identity and her parents and family. Then Wei Qingguan cried even more unbearably. After being scolded, she still endured the grievance and said that it was what she deserved. This made Yun, who originally felt sorry for her biological daughter who had just been brought back, feel sorry for Wei Qingguan who was accused of being insulted. End of this chapter. Chapter 4 Family Members. In fact, Wei Ruo felt that although the original owner was a bit reckless, she was not wrong. The 10 years she was thrown in the countryside by the He family were very hard. She had no money, no food, no warm clothes, no one to educate her, and no relatives to accompany her. That kind of pain and that kind of resentment are incomprehensible to others. Let her see that someone has replaced her and live so well, isn't it understandable for her to be angry? But Wei Ruo's current thinking is that as long as the heroine doesn't take the initiative to provoke her later, she won't take the initiative to trouble the heroine. One of the living standards of a cannon fodder female supporting role: do not compete with the female lead for the male lead, and do not compete with the female lead for favor. So Wei Ruo said to Wei Qingguan who was kneeling on the ground, "Don't kneel to me, I'm not a bodhisattva in the temple, I don't need others to kneel. It's no good for me if you kneel, and it's no good for you, and I can't make it happen for you. Wish, when we hold temple fairs in the countryside, everyone rushes to kneel to the bodhisattva and make a wish. But I owe my sister something. Although doing this can't change the past, at least it can make me feel less guilty. If you feel that you owe me something, then you should pay me back. You shouldn't be thinking about how to make yourself feel less guilty, shouldn't that be the case?" Wei Ruo asked back. Hearing this, Wei Qingguan was startled. Yunqi and Wei Yuchen were also shocked. It is true that what Qingguan did would not help Wei Ruo. Although both Yun and Wei Yuchen think that Qingguan doesn't need to blame herself, from Wei Ruo's point of view, Qingguan's actions really bother her. After thinking for a moment, Wei Qingguan asked Wei Ruo, "Then what does my sister want me to do to make up for it? As long as my sister asks, I am willing to do it." Wei Ruo said, "First of all, you get up first. If you are so kneeling and don't know it, you think I'm bullying you." Wei Ruo puts the relationship aside first. Kneeling is what Wei Qingguan did on her own. Don't Wei Qingguan be wronged at that time. The blame will still be on her head, and she will lose her money. Wei Yuchen stepped forward to help Wei Qingguan up. Wei Qingguan got up slowly, raised her head softly, looked at Wei Ruo, and asked softly, "Does sister have any orders?" Wei Ruo, "Don't worry, there will be a long time to come. I just came here, and I don't know anything yet. You called me at the beginning, and I don't even know who you are and what you owe me." Hearing this, Wei Qingguan was stunned again. Yes, take your time." Yun wiped away her tears, adjusted her emotions, and said to Wei Ruo, "Ruoer, let me introduce you to your brothers and sisters first. Your father is not here today, and he really wants to see you, but now that Japanese pirates are rampant and making trouble outside the city from time to time, your father really can't leave. Linhai, Xingshan County, has been invaded by Japanese pirates recently. As the military officer here, Wei Mingting is very busy. This matter is nothing more than other matters. It is related to the safety of the people in the city. Wei Mingting should lead by example and leave his family for everyone. Even if his biological daughter arrives home for the first time, he cannot ask for leave." Then Yun introduced, "This is your elder brother Wei Yuchen. He lived 3 times at home in the capital, and now you call him elder brother here." The man next to him, who is as gentle as jade and with gentle eyes, smiled at Wei Ruo, "Sister, tell me anything in the future." Wei Ruo nodded. Then Yun turned to the boy sitting on the chair next to him, "This is your younger brother, named Yilan, he is 7 years old this year. He is the youngest in the Beijing family, at the age of 8. Wei Yilan, who was named, flattened his mouth, with a cold face, and he didn't really want to say hello to Wei Ruo. It wasn't until Yun gave him a stern look that he reluctantly called Wei Ruo, "Sister." After yelling, she turned her head away immediately and stopped looking at Wei Ruo. Yun continued, "In addition, you have a concubine elder brother, Jin Yi, who doesn't come out very often, but is now in your yard. Yun didn't really want to mention this concubine. Yun and her husband Wei Mingting had always had a good relationship, and the husband had never had a concubine for many years, but this concubine alone was a thorn in Yun's heart. Immediately afterwards, Yun looked at Wei Qingguan again. At this time, Yun hesitated for a moment. If she ignored Qingguan and did not make a formal introduction, then Qingguan would definitely feel sad. She said that even if she was not her own, she was also the daughter of their Wei family. Is there any reason not to introduce it? But if it was introduced, tell Wei Ruo that Qingguan will continue to stay at Wei's house in the future. She is afraid that Wei Ruo, who just arrived home, will feel uncomfortable. After hesitating for a long time, Yun still chose to say to Wei Ruo, she is Qingguan, that is, she switched identities with you. Mama Zhang and Mama Li have already told you about your affairs. After discussing it, you will stay by my side in the future, and you will all be young ladies of my Wei family. Speaking of this, Yun looked at Wei Ruo worriedly. Yet, Wei Ruo agreed, but his reaction was a little dull. I don't know if it was too dull, but it made everyone feel strange. Wei Yuchen immediately said, Mother, my sister has been driving for 3 days, and the boat and car are exhausting, so I should let my sister rest first. Yes, yes, let's take her to the room to rest first. Yun said hurriedly. As he spoke, he took Wei Ruo's hand and led her to her yard. Xiao Yi's mansion is not big, with a total of 6 courtyards in the backyard. Usually the 5 courtyards are occupied by people, leaving only the most remote and narrowest courtyard vacant. Wei Yuchen offered to give up his yard to Wei Ruo, and because he likes to study quietly, the remote yard is suitable for him. So Wei Ruo is now being taken to live in the courtyard that originally belonged to Wei Yuchen. On the plaque at the gate of the courtyard, there are 3 vigorous characters Ting Song Yuan, which are named by Wei Yuchen, and the plaque has not been changed in the future. The courtyard is bright and spacious, and the layout of the garden still retains Wei Yuchen's preferences, with pines and cypresses intertwined, fresh and elegant. Yun Shi led Wei Ruo into the room. Although the time was short, the room was arranged according to the girl's preferences. There are also a lot of brand new clothes in the closet. Wei Ruo and Wei Qingguan are about the same size now. They are 13 years old and have not grown up yet, so they took some and gave them to Wei Ruo first. Mr. Yun gave Wei Ruo a few more words, and then walked out of the room and asked Wei Ruo to rest first, and come to pick her up after dinner. After Mrs. Yun left, Xiaomei moved Wei Ruo's personal belongings into the room, and the servants of the family had already moved all the other things into Ting Song Yuan, and they will be cleaned up one by one tomorrow. Looking at the furnishings in the room, I couldn't help feeling, if Miss is not wronged, she has lived in such an environment since she was a child. Comparing Xiao Yi's mansion with the He family's other courtyard in the countryside, the difference is simply worlds apart. Comparing the attitudes of He's parents and Yun's towards Wei Ruo, Xiaomei couldn't help feeling sorry for Wei Ruo. Without the presence of outsiders, Wei Ruo immediately stepped on the bed and lay down, sleeping on all fours, without any image. Dignity and beauty are on the outside, but Wei Ruo likes to be more free and undisciplined at home. End of this chapter. Chapter 5 Dismissal. Xiaomei poured water and gave Wei Ruo a drink. Miss, I think the captain's mansion is very good. Madam and your brother are very good to you. Otherwise, don't even think about leaving. You have multiple backers. Take it easy from now on. Hey, they are good to me, as long as there is no conflict with the protagonist. Protagonist? Who is the lady talking about? I didn't say anyone, I was talking nonsense. Me Isa tidy up the things, and keep those eye-catching ones away. Wei Ruo ordered. Okay, miss, you should take a rest first. Xiaomei said. Wei Ruo also felt that he should sleep to recharge his energy, otherwise he would not have the energy to cope at night. Just as she was about to fall asleep, Nanny Li, one of the two nuns who went to pick Wei Ruo back from Huaibei town, came. Xiaomei wanted to dissuade her, but Nanny Li ignored her and walked straight into Wei Ruo's bedroom. Why did Miss fall asleep at noon? Nanny stood in front of Wei Ruo's bed with a stern expression. Wei Ruo got up and stretched. Is Mammy okay? The madam sent me to teach the young lady to be familiar with the affairs of the mansion, and also asked the young lady to pack up and follow the old slave to the courtyard. After finishing speaking, Nanny Li turned around and walked to the yard to wait for Wei Ruo, acting quickly without giving Wei Ruo a chance to think and refuse. Miss Xiaomei frowned. Ma'am, why, you just got home, why don't you let you take a rest? She just praised Madam for being kind to their young lady, so why did she immediately slap her in the face? It should be my mother's instruction to ask Nanny to teach me the rules, but it may not be my mother's idea to teach me right now. Nanny Li has her own selfish motives in doing so. Nurse Li is a nanny who came out of Uncle's Hong Gai's mansion. In terms of status, she is higher than the general servants in the mansion. Because of this relationship, she considered herself to have a higher status than the ordinary servants in the family. At the same time, she has more rules, and she has already shown dissatisfaction with Wei Ruo's lazy habits on the road. At the same time, Nanny Li is the nanny who takes care of Wei Qingguan growing up, and Nanny Li's daughter Kui He is still the big maid beside Wei Qingguan. And Wei Ruo, who has read the original work, knows it well. What is the lady going to do? Xiaomei asked worriedly. It's okay, I know what she wants. Wei Ruo got up and came to the yard. When he came to the courtyard, Nanny Li gave some guidance to Wei Ruo on his demeanor. Miss Ruoer, now that you have arrived at the Colonel's mansion, you are not as good as before. You must pay special attention to every word and deed, and you can't be so casual anymore. Otherwise, you will make a joke, and you will not only lose it. It's not just your own face, but also those from the Colonel's mansion and this Hong Gai Bo's mansion in the capital, you know. I'm not used to it. Wei Ruo retorted directly. Miss Ruoer, what do you mean by that? Nanny Li's expression immediately became serious. Aren't I the lady of the captain's mansion? Why should I care what others think of me? Wei Ruo spoke arrogantly, defiantly. Miss Ruoer, don't say this outside, otherwise you will be laughed at. The joke is a joke, what else can they do with me? Isn't my grandfather's Hong Gai? Isn't he very powerful? Then why am I afraid of them? Nanny Li's eyes became dark and unclear, and she said slowly, no matter what, from now on, the eldest lady will learn the rules from me, and the rules I told you must be firmly remembered, learn all the words that can be learned, and try to be as good as possible. Everyone looks like a lady. Got it. Wei Ruo looked very impatient. Then let me introduce some basic rules to you today, so that the lady won't be rude when she sees the master at night, and I will teach you the rest slowly. Nurse Li babbled on to Wei Ruoxi for a long time, but Wei Ruodong looked around, not paying attention at all. Okay, it seems that Miss Ruoer is not interested in continuing to study now, so let's stop here first. Nanny Li finished teaching Wei Ruo, and told Xiaomei to take good care of Wei Ruo and not let Wei Ruo run around, and then left Ting Song Yuan. After Nanny Li left, Xiaomei asked Wei Ruo puzzledly, Miss, why didn't Nanny Li teach you much after you deliberately pretended to be unruly and ignorant? Because she doesn't want me to be outstanding. On her trip today, she first challenged me, then tested me, and finally taught me. Teaching me is not her main task. Wei Ruo said with a light smile. In the original book, Nanny Li also taught Wei Ruo to follow the rules, but she never really taught it with her heart. The original owner behaved poorly, and Nanny Li never punished her. On the surface, it seems to be tolerant towards the original owner, but in fact, deep down, he doesn't want the original owner to really become outstanding, taking Wei Qingguan's light away. Anyway, she did it according to the procedure and said everything that should be said. It was Wei Ruo's fault that Wei Ruo didn't learn well, not her senior nanny's fault. It is not good to teach at all. Wasting half an hour with Nanny Li, Wei Ruo went back to the house to take a nap, and it was already evening when she woke up again, and Mrs. Yun personally came to pick Wei Ruo to the dining hall. Along the way, Mrs. Yun held Wei Ruo's hand, earnestly asking if Wei Ruo was used to it, and if there was anything dissatisfied with the room. Entering the dining room, Wei Ruo saw Wei Mingting, whom he hadn't seen during the day, with a tall figure, three-dimensional features and deep brows. Just like the original description, he was a very dignified father. Seeing Wei Ruo, Wei Mingting's expression moved, he subconsciously took 2 steps forward, and soon stopped. It seems that he feels that his performance is too excited and not suitable for the head of the family. Ruoer, this is your father. Yun led Wei Ruo to Wei Mingting. Father. Wei Ruo said. N. Wei Mingting responded with a low voice, as if he was suppressing some kind of emotion. His gaze stayed on Wei Ruo for a long time. Wei Ruo thought he was going to say something to himself, but no, his reaction was much colder than Yun's. Take a seat. Wei Mingting let everyone take their seats. This place is not in the capital, and now there is only their room, so many rules have been removed, there is no need to separate tables for men and women, everyone is at the table. Yun Shi pulled Wei Ruo and asked her to sit next to him. When everyone sat down, they found that Wei Qingguan was standing next to him. Wei Mingting and Yun were both taken aback, and the atmosphere was a bit awkward. At this time, Wei Yilan jumped off the chair, ran to Wei Qingguan, and pulled her to the table. Sister, let's eat. Yilan, I still won't serve the table. Wei Qingguan replied in a low voice. Why not? You are my sister. We are a family. Wei Yilan said domineeringly. End of this chapter. Chapter 6. Who is the eldest daughter and who is the second daughter? But Wei Qingguan looked up at Wei Mingting cautiously. Come and sit down, don't think about anything else. Your mother and I have already told you that you are the daughter of our Wei family regardless of blood relationship. Wei Mingting made it clear. Yes, what your father said is correct, don't think about it, no one can shake Miss Wei's identity. Yun also expressed his opinion. Under everyone's joint efforts to persuade, Wei Qingguan slowly walked to the dining table and sat down. Then Yun looked at Wei Ruo who was beside her, and was relieved to see that her expression was normal. The meal was very quiet. Everyone looked at Wei Ruo several times, and worried that she would be out of order after 13 years in the merchant's house. Unexpectedly, she ate in a slow and orderly manner, which fully met the standards of a lady. After dinner, everyone sat down to drink tea together, and at the same time, they had to discuss a more urgent matter. Seeing that the atmosphere was good, Wei Mingting opened his mouth and said to Wei Ruo, Ruoer, you have worked hard all these years. Your grandfather and 2 uncles who are far away in the capital already know about the matter of having the wrong child, and your name will be publicized soon. Add to the family tree. Yesterday Wei Mingting had already received a letter from Beijing, and he was going to reply to the letter in 2 days, so he had to tell Wei Ruo right now. Yes. Wei Ruo agreed, without revealing everyone's expected expectation and joy. Wei Mingting looked at Wei Ruo with a slight frown, thought for a moment, and said, we have decided to add your name after Qingguan, so you will be the second young lady of the Wei family, okay? Hearing this, Wei Ruo raised his head and met Wei Mingting's eyes. Those eyes were clear and bright, neither sad nor happy. As a general, Wei Mingting has always been majestic, even at home, he is more powerful than ordinary people. The children in the family were a little afraid of him when they were young. Even Wei Qingguan, who was deeply favored before, did not dare to look Wei Mingting directly in the eyes when his expression was serious. Before Wei Ruo spoke, Wei Qingguan suddenly stood up and knelt down in front of Wei Mingting and Yun Shi. Father, Mother, my daughter begs Ruoer to be the eldest daughter. Wan Wan, what are you doing? Yun's eyes were full of distress. Father, mother, I am very satisfied to be able to grow up in Wei's family these years, to be the daughter of my parents, to be happy, and to meet my parents. I am willing to keep me by your side. I am already very satisfied, and I dare not occupy this place any more. The identity of the eldest daughter, not to mention the second young lady, even if it is a slave or a handmaid, I would love it. Wei Mingting and Yun's brows were furrowed, eyes full of distress and embarrassment. Wei Qingguan kowtowed again, please ask your parents to help you. This knock was very loud, and the sound of dong was very crisp. Yunqi hurried forward to stop Wei Qingguan from hurting herself further. Wan Wan, stop knocking, your parents know what you want. Dad and mother love so much, my daughter deserves it. Fool, what are you talking about? You are not allowed to say such worthy words again. You are our daughter and we are a family. This will never change. Yunqi hugged Wei Qingguan in her arms, feeling very distressed. Wei Yilin also jumped down from his seat, ran up, and embraced Wei Qingguan and Yunqi. Sister, you will always be my sister, you are not allowed to say that kind of words. Wei Yilin pursed his mouth and red eyes. Seeing this scene, Wei Mingting's face was tense, and his face was clouded. Wei Yuchen was also touched by this scene, but he didn't step forward to express his opinion, but looked in Wei Ruo's direction twice, worried that Wei Ruo would feel uncomfortable seeing this scene. After a while, Yun let go of Wei Qingguan, and let the two children go back to their seats and sit down. Wei Qingguan stood up with Wei Yilin's support. She didn't know whether she had knelt for a long time or was weak. Her body swayed and she almost fell back again. Fortunately, Wei Yilin supported her. Afterwards, Yunqi also returned to Wei Mingting's side. After several people sat down, Wei Mingting and Yun's eyes fell back on Wei Ruo. Wei Ruo had a slight smile on his lips, and his crisp voice broke the silence in the hall. She asked Wei Mingting, is it because my parents made such a decision because I was born later? No. When Wei Mingting replied, his voice was a little weak. According to the time when the two wives gave birth, Mrs. Wei should be a little earlier than Mrs. He's family. Then, as Mrs. Wei's biological daughter, Wei Ruo should have been born a little earlier than Wei Qingguan. Why is that? Wei Ruo continued to ask, staring at Wei Mingting with a pair of clear and bright eyes. Not knowing whether it was because those eyes were too clear or for some other reason, Wei Mingting was silent. Yun hurriedly helped her husband explain, that's right, Wan Wan has already entered the genealogy. To avoid trouble, I will directly fill in your name behind, and there is no need to make other changes. Wei Yilin interjected, my sister is the eldest sister, the eldest daughter in the family. Of course you can't steal the status of the eldest daughter from my sister. The first and second house of the Wei family have no daughters. Before Wei Ruo came, Wei Qingguan was the only girl in the family, the eldest daughter. Although she is not the eldest son and eldest daughter, she has more or less a long character. In the capital city, where the lintel of family background is very important, this long word still holds some weight. Yilin. What nonsense are you talking about? Mrs. Yun snapped, preventing her youngest son from continuing to talk nonsense. Being reprimanded, Wei Yilin pursed his lips, aggrieved and stubborn. Mr. Yun turned her head and explained to Wei Ruo, it's not about the status of the eldest daughter and the second daughter. It's just that everyone is used to calling it that way, whether it's at home here or in the capital. I'm afraid everyone won't get used to it if I change it temporarily. Is this the only reason? Wei Ruo asked again. Wei Mingting said with a serious expression, I discussed this matter with your mother and made a decision after weighing various parties. Everyone looked at Wei Ruo, waiting for her answer. Just when everyone thought that Wei Ruo would continue to say something to fight for the position of eldest daughter for himself, Wei Ruo gave everyone an unexpected answer. Okay, then I will be the second lady. Hearing this, everyone looked at Wei Ruo in surprise. Wei Ruo's questioning just now made people feel that she was very dissatisfied with asking her to make a small arrangement, but now she agreed directly after changing her style of painting. "Ruoer, you really don't mind?" Yun asked hurriedly. "However convenient, it's troublesome for everyone to change. My father is also very busy these days, so he shouldn't bother with these trivial matters. Or, if I mind, father and mother will change their minds." "Intend?" Wei Ruo asked back, with a faint smile on the corner of his mouth, and a sly look in his eyes. End of this chapter. Chapter 7. The eldest daughter and the second daughter are the same. This question made both Wei Mingting and Yun's eyes flash with guilt. "Since my mind is useless, then I still don't mind. There is nothing I can do about it. If I missed the 13 years with my parents, I missed it. Now I can only blame fate for tricking people." Wei Ruo said briskly, as if he really understood the Wei family. Everyone in the hall fell silent, especially Wei Mingting and Yun Shi, who originally felt sorry for Wei Qingguan, but at this moment they felt that the child's non-competitive behavior made people feel distressed. Yun's moved and said to Wei Ruo, "Ruoer, you are the child of your parents. We are connected by blood. Now that you are back, no matter whether you are the eldest daughter or the second daughter, your weight in our hearts is very important. Parents will make up for the missing relationship of 13 years. Okay." Wei Ruo agreed happily, but had other plans in mind. Wei Mingting said in a deep voice, "That's the matter. From now on, you brothers and sisters will get along well. Yuchen and Wan. Ruoer doesn't understand a lot of things when she just came back. Take her with you." "Don't worry, father," Wei Yuchen replied. "My daughter knows." Wei Qingguan lowered her head and agreed softly. The matter came to an end, and Wei Mingting was going to write back to the capital after returning to the study in a while, explaining the situation to them. After drinking tea and talking about things, Wei Ruo was sent back to Tingsongyuan by Yun himself. I don't know if it's because Wei Ruo accepted the identity of the second young lady, which made Yun feel a little guilty. She told Wei Ruo along the way that she wanted to buy things for Wei Ruo, and arranged everything from clothes and hair to maids and mothers. The Wei mansion is actually not rich, the little family property left by the ancestors has already been paid out, and Wei Mingting does not have much salary as a school captain, but Wei Qingguan already has some things, and the Yun family is not good at this kind of situation. The place favors one more than another. Wei Ruo, who gave money and things, agreed, and would not refuse anyone, but Wei Ruo, who arranged the manpower, declined, saying that he had Xiaomei as a maid for the time being, and he didn't like other people coming in and out of his room. Yun obeyed her wishes and didn't force this kind of thing. He only said that when Wei Ruo wanted to tell her, she would make arrangements. Going back to Tingsongyuan, entered the room, and closed the door. Wei Ruo, who was dignified and aloof 1 second before, broke his skills the next second. "This tea is too hard to drink." With this skill, a crop of wheat has been harvested. For some reason, Wei Ruo feels that when working hard to make money, although he is tired, he is exhausted to the fullest, and the tiredness of dealing with this kind of occasion is the kind of stuffy tiredness, like a lot of turbidity accumulated in the chest. Actually, Wei Ruo, who knows the plot of the original book, already knew what Wei Mingting and Yun Shi were going to tell him today. The original owner got into a quarrel with Wei Mingting over this matter. The original owner felt that it belonged to her. Wei Qingguan had already occupied her status and affection for 13 years, so why did she continue to occupy the identity of her eldest daughter? In the end, the original owner succeeded and became the eldest daughter, but everyone felt sorry for Wei Qingguan, who had been wronged in this incident, and had a grudge against the original owner. Actually, the original owner made such a fuss and wanted the status of the eldest daughter so much, but why did he only want the position of the eldest daughter? What she wants is actually the attention and love from her biological parents. It's just that the way she expresses it is a little clumsy. The previous experience made Wei Ruo feel that it is better to rely on his own efforts to strive for his own status than to expect others to give him his status. Don't place bets on others, don't have high expectations of others, especially those who don't care much about themselves, will make their lives happier. He even said that if given the opportunity, Wei Ruo wanted to break away from the Wei family and set up his own family. As for today's eldest daughter and second daughter, Wei Mingting and Yun may not be able to make the decision. The person who can really make a final decision is the old uncle in the capital. The old uncle in the original book is a person who attaches great importance to family heirs. After learning that Wei Qingguan is not from the blood of the Wei family, he treats her very coldly. He may not agree to let Wei Qingguan, who has no blood relationship with him, be the eldest granddaughter. So instead of her arguing with Wei Mingting Yun's family here, it is better to throw the problem to the old man and let Wei Mingting and his wife compete with the old man. In the next 3 days, Wei Ruo lived fairly peacefully, and got a general understanding of the general situation in the mansion. The economic situation of the Wei family is not very good. The family property of this Honggaibo mansion has been squandered for a long time, and now it is just supporting the facade. In Xingshan County, her father, Wei Mingting, is still only a 6th-rank school lieutenant, with a limited salary, and he has to support this big family. I heard that the emperor was very dissatisfied with the officials in Taizhou Prefecture because the anti-Japanese affairs were not going well. Of course, the skinny camel is bigger than a horse, and is much stronger than her adoptive parents, the He family. Mr. Yun would visit Wei Ruo every day and bring her some things for food and clothing. Wei Mingting was very busy and didn't go home for a few days. Not to mention Wei Ruo couldn't see him anymore, even the Yun family couldn't see him. Big brother Wei Yuchen is busy with his studies, so he doesn't come often, but every time he comes, he always brings Wei Ruo local special snacks from Xingshan County, and tells Wei Ruo the customs of Xingshan County. Wei Yilan has never been here before, but once passed by Wei Ruo's door, he and Wei Ruo looked at each other from a distance, and after just one glance, he turned his head arrogantly and walked away quickly. Wei Qingguan came several times, and each time brought something to her, but every time she came, she looked like she was about to cry, so Wei Ruo urged her to go back. For the rest of the time, the one Wei Ruo saw the most was Nanny Li, who was ordered to teach him how to behave. But she didn't really teach, and she didn't care if Wei Ruo acted lazy, and just let it go. On the 4th day, Wei Ruo got a free day and didn't have to learn the rules from Nanny Li. Wei Ruo asked Xiaomei to find a for herself after having breakfast in her room. She spotted an open space on the west side of the yard and planned to use it to grow vegetables. No way, her space requires her to plant to gain experience. If it is only planted in the land in the space, it will be too slow to upgrade experience. After she left Majiaza, she didn't know if the field she planted there would be considered her planting if it was ripe and harvested, and whether it would have experience points. No matter what, the experience value is not too much, and the ones that should be planted should be planted. I heard that the pine garden is quite big, and she didn't destroy it all. She only planted a little on the corner on the west side, which should have little impact on the overall aesthetics. Wei Ruo flipped the floor over and over again, with a powerful and rhythmic voice. After a while, a piece of land 2 meters square was reclaimed by Wei Ruo. Then, together with Xiaomei, they split a pile of bamboo and built a shelf next to the wall, where they planned to plant loofahs, pumpkins, and gourds. Wei Ruo stopped to rest, sat on the stone bench in the courtyard and drank some water. A young man knocked on the door, and Xiaomei went to answer it. Wei Ruo stopped and heard the young servant talking to Xiaomei, saying that the sound of chopping bamboo on her side disturbed the second young master next door who was studying, and hoped that they would keep their voices down. End of this chapter. Chapter 8. The second young master who lives next door. Second young master Wei Jinyi, besides her, is the most special person in this family. There is not much description of this person in the original book. He is like a transparent person in the whole school captain's mansion. All I know is that when Wei Mingting was alive, Wei Jin also had a pretty good life in the Wei family, and he had everything that the young master had. Wei Mingting also allowed him not to dine with other members of the family, and set up a small kitchen in his own yard. Although to a certain extent, it was to avoid embarrassing his wife Yun, it was also a manifestation of his love for Wei Jinyi. After Wei Mingting's death in battle, the Wei family fell to the bottom, until the male protagonist appeared. It is estimated that Wei Jinyi's life will not be easy during this time. In the original book, there is no scene between Wei Ruo and Wei Jinyi. One of them is the little transparency in the family, and the other is the cannon fodder female supporting role who jumps up and down. Interactions between key supporting characters. Thinking of this, Wei Ruo had some thoughts in his mind, got up and went back to the room. Taking advantage of Xiaomei's time communicating with the servant, he went back to the room and carried a jar she brought from Ma Jiaza. Then he came to the door and said to Wei Jinyi's boy, "I'm really sorry for disturbing the second brother's rest just now, I'll go over and apologize to him now." "Ah!" The servant looked at Wei Ruo in surprise, then waved his hands and said, "That's not necessary, it's not that serious, the second young master just asked me to remind you, miss, just keep your voice down. It's not just an apology. I just returned home and haven't seen my second brother yet. As a younger sister, I should pay a visit." Wei Ruo has made up his mind. He walked out the door with the jar in his arms, but the boy couldn't stop him even if he wanted to. The Ting Song garden where Wei Ruo lives now is next to the Yingzhou garden where Wei Jinyi lives, separated only by a wall. Wei Ruo went out of the gate and walked 2 steps to the gate of Yingzhou garden. Ting Song garden is fresh and elegant, while Yingzhou garden is even duller than Ting Song garden. There are few decorations, and it looks deserted and even a bit shabby. Only the piece of light bamboo in the yard is lush and beautiful. There is an octagonal pavilion next to the bamboo forest, and Wei Ruo immediately saw Wei Jinyi sitting in the pavilion reading a book. Dressed in plain clothes, the fabric used is not satin. Before Wei Ruo came in, he was still quietly reading a book. He raised his head when he heard the movement, and met Wei Ruo's eyes. Those were 2 cold eyes, the brows were foggy, and the skin was a little fairer for a man. But the facial features are extremely beautiful, and every part is like a carefully crafted work of art. Wei Ruo couldn't help feeling in his heart that the Creator is so powerful that he can make a man so beautiful. Wei Jin also frowned after seeing the person coming, showing strong rejection. "Xiaobei." Wei Jin also called the boy over. "Second young master, Miss said she wanted to come to apologize to you, but I didn't stop." Xiaobei apologized. Wei Ruo took the lead and quickly stated his intentions. "Don't be annoyed, I won't disturb you for too long, so I'll just express my apologies. The sound of splitting bamboo is indeed a bit loud today. I didn't think carefully enough, so I came here to apologize to you." As he spoke, he offered the jar he carried as an apology gift. Wei Ruo's operation made the master and servant in front of him a little confused. The second son is a concubine, his biological mother is unknown, and the mistress doesn't like it. He has almost no sense of presence in this mansion, and even the servants have to wear small shoes for him when they have the opportunity. Although Wei Ruo has just been picked up, but she is a serious daughter-in-law, why is she so polite to the second son? Could it be that you haven't figured out the situation yet? "I'm not angry with you, and I don't drink, you go back." Wei Jin also only glanced at Wei Ruo, and that cold gaze returned to the desk in front of him. "It's not wine. You take it back no matter what it is." "I'm not angry. I just asked Xiaobei to remind you that you don't need to prepare a special apology ceremony. It's soy sauce, not something expensive. If you don't need my apology, just treat it as a gift from me." "What? Soy sauce?" Seeing Wei Jinyi's suspicious expression, Wei Ruo explained, "This is brewing soy sauce that I learned from a mother-in-law when I was in the country. It is useful for strengthening the body." Brewed soy sauce learned from the country mother-in-law? Also has the function of nourishing the body? Why does it sound so mysterious? Good brewing methods of soy sauce are secret methods that are not handed down from family members, and will not be easily passed on to others. And those with additional medicinal value are things that few people know about, and most people have never even heard of them. Wei Jin didn't want to get entangled with Wei Ruojuo, so he stopped asking. "I see, I accept the apology gift, you can go back." Wei Jin also just wanted to send Wei Ruo away quickly, so he asked Xiaobei to take over the dark jar from Wei Ruo's hand. "Well, good, remember to use this soy sauce, it's also delicious when dipped in seafood." The capital of Taizhou is near the sea. Before the Japanese pirates made trouble, many fishermen went out to sea to fish. The wharf sold a lot of fresh seafood, and the nearby residents couldn't live without seafood. After finishing speaking, Wei Ruo didn't stay any longer to make people feel suspicious, so he turned around and left. Xiaobei was at a loss holding the jar. "Master, what should I do with this jar?" "Put it anywhere." Wei Jin also didn't want to waste time on such meaningless things. Seeing that his young master's attention was already on the book in his hand, Xiaobei could only find a way to deal with it by himself. "Finally, I chose to put it in the corner of the small kitchen in Yangzhuyuan." Xiaobei felt that the act of giving soy sauce was very novel. Other people give gifts, they always give some elegant things, not flowers and spices, but also good wine. This lady is very unique, it is so rare to give someone a jar of soy sauce. But I heard that this lady has been in the country for a few years, farming, and it is understandable that she is a little different from other ladies. End of this chapter. Chapter 9. She is a village woman. After learning about Wei Ruo's transformation of the yard, although Yun felt something was wrong, he didn't say anything. "After all, my daughter grew up in the countryside, so it's normal for her to not get used to it for a while, and she will just have to teach it slowly in the future." But Wei Yilan was not very happy about this, and went to his elder brother Wei Yuchen to complain. "Brother, that Wei Ruo has messed up your yard. It's useless for you to give up the yard to him, and she has changed a good and elegant yard." "What has she changed into?" Wei Yuchen was curious. He was busy with his studies these days, so he didn't know much about Wei Ruo's affairs. "She grows vegetables in your yard. It's so vulgar. How can a young lady do this? It's too shameful." Wei Yilan felt more and more uncomfortable thinking about it. Growing vegetables? Although it's not very elegant, it's not a big deal, so don't feel ashamed. Wei Yuchen smiled. "Why don't you be ashamed? I have heard people say that the one we invited back is a disgraceful village woman. She doesn't look like a lady at all." Wei Yuchen's expression became serious. "Who is gossiping in private? How can a servant speak ill of the master behind his back?" "Yilan, if you encounter such a thing next time, you should stand up and scold them directly." I don't speak for her. She is ashamed." Wei Yilan pursed his lips, not realizing that he was wrong. "Brother, aren't you angry? She made a mess of your yard. It's her residence now. How she wants to change it is her business, and I shouldn't interfere. And you, Yilan, I understand that you like Wan Wan, and you should protect Wan Wan." "Same, I feel sorry for Wan Wan. But Ruoer is also your sister, she did nothing wrong, you shouldn't treat her like this." Wei Yuchen taught. "I don't want her to be my sister. Wan Wan is enough for me. She made my sister secretly cry several times when she came. My sister took the initiative to find her and give her something, but she didn't even bother her. My sister let her go without saying a word, which made my sister very sad." "Yilan, this is the end of these words. From now on, I don't care what you think in your heart, but you must never say it again, whether it is in front of me, or in front of your parents, and the most important thing is that you must never say it in front of your big sister. Speak. If you don't listen again, I will take you to father to be punished. Wei Yuchen was so strict, no matter how reluctant Wei Yilin was, he could only flatten his mouth and agree. Understood. If you don't say it, don't say it. Wei Yilin obediently stood next to Wei Yuchen, reading the Analects of Confucius. Wei Yilin has a restless personality, and only when he is around Wei Yuchen will he be more peaceful. After about a cup of tea, Wei Qingguan's personal maid, Kui He, came over with a small snack in her hand. Eldest young master, third young master, Miss made some sweet-scented osmanthus cakes, and asked the servants to bring them to the two young masters, and also asked the servants to bring a message to the young master, so that the young master should pay attention to rest, and don't just focus on reading entire your body. On a white porcelain plate, there are milky white osmanthus cakes neatly placed, dotted with golden osmanthus flowers. It is osmanthus honey that Wei Qingguan made herself when the osmanthus flowers bloomed last year. Wei Yilin looked joyful. Big sister is so kind to us, there are delicious sweet-scented osmanthus cakes to eat. As he spoke, Wei Yilin reached out and took a piece, put it in his mouth, with a satisfied face. Well, it smells so sweet. Wei Yuchen didn't move. Big brother, why don't you eat it? Don't you like the osmanthus cake made by big sister? Yilin, take this plate of sweet-scented osmanthus cake to Ting Song Yuan and give it to Ruoer. Wei Yuchen ordered. Why? Big sister made it herself. Wei Yilin's face collapsed again. Ruoer has been back home for so many days, and you haven't gotten along well with her. Wei Yuchen said seriously. But why should the big sister give her what she made? And why should he get along with that peasant woman? Wei Yilin didn't dare to say the latter sentence in front of Wei Yuchen again. It is precisely because it was made by Wan Wan that you should share it with Ruoer. While fulfilling your wishes, you can also fulfill Wan Wan's wishes. Wei Yuchen said. But be obedient. Wei Yuchen's expression was extraordinarily serious. All right. Although Wei Yilin was full of reluctance, he didn't dare not listen to Wei Yuchen's words. So reluctantly, he took the sweet-scented osmanthus cake and went to Song Yuan to listen to it. As soon as Wei Yilin entered the door of Ting Song Yuan, he saw Wei Ruo climbed onto the ladder, and Wei Yilin's dissatisfaction with Wei Ruo immediately surged up again. How did you climb so high? If you are seen like this, you will definitely be laughed at. Wei Ruo heard the sound and looked down, and saw Wei Yilin standing beside the ladder, staring at him angrily. Why is it indecent to climb a ladder? Of course it's indecent, no lady will jump up and down like you. Don't look at it if you don't like it, turn right when you go out, and walk slowly. Wei Ruo is also very straightforward. This little kid doesn't like herself from head to toe, from the inside out. She doesn't need to waste time with this little kid. You think I want to see you? Wei Yilin said angrily. Then why are you still here? Since you don't want to see it, why bother? Wei Ruo asked. Wei Yilin originally wanted to leave immediately, but if Wei Ruo drove him away, his rebellious psychology came up, and he refused to leave. This is my home, I can come whenever I want, and leave whenever I want. Not only did Wei Yilin not leave, but he also sat down on the wicker chair that Wei Ruo placed in the yard. Wei Ruo saw that he would not be able to drive Wei Yilin away for a while, so he climbed down from the ladder and walked up to Wei Yilin. Wei Yilin stared at her unconvinced. Whatever. Wei Ruo is too lazy to argue with Wei Yilin. Her core of an adult does not need to care about an 8-year-old child. Wait a minute, I'm here to deliver something to you. Wei Yilin called to stop Wei Ruo, who was about to enter the house. As he spoke, he opened the food box he brought and brought out the sweet-scented osmanthus cake inside. This is sweet-scented osmanthus cake. The soft cake body is made of glutinous rice flour, orange flour, sugar, and oil, and it is served with delicious osmanthus honey. It tastes sweet and soft. Wei Yilin proudly introduced to Wei Ruo. Do you think I have never eaten sweet-scented osmanthus cake? Wei Ruo wanted to laugh. I don't know if you have eaten it or not, but you must have never eaten the osmanthus cake made by my elder sister. The osmanthus honey she makes is different from other places. The osmanthus cake is unique. Every time she makes it, Dad and Mother fight to eat with Big Brother. Does it have anything to do with me that she made osmanthus cake well? Knowing how to make sweet-scented osmanthus cake is only one aspect. My eldest sister is very good at playing piano, chess, calligraphy, and painting. It can be said that she is a well-deserved talented woman, and is recognized by all the gentlemen in the county. So what? What are you trying to tell me? I want to tell you that my eldest sister is very good, and she is better than you in all aspects. Whether she is my own sister or not, in the eyes of my parents, elder brother, and me, she is a well-deserved eldest daughter of the Wei family. Girl, I hope you will recognize your identity in the future, don't do things that bully your sister, don't make her angry, accept your identity as the second young lady obediently, and don't compete with my eldest sister, can you do it? Wei Ruo laughed out loud. What are you laughing at? Wei Yilin raised his face and frowned. End of this chapter. Chapter 10. The matter of the eldest daughter has changed. Let's say you hate it, but you're quite upright, and tell me directly what's on your mind. Say you're funny, but what you say is quite vexatious. Wei Ruo commented. Where did I make trouble unreasonably? Wei Yilin objected. I want to go. Wei Ruo really didn't intend to continue to break up with Wei Yilin this time, so he turned around and walked to his room after speaking. Wei Yilin ran up to Wei Ruo and stopped her. Speak clearly. Don't you dislike seeing me? You stop me now and don't let me go. Could it be that you actually like my sister? You just don't admit it. Little idiot, your duplicity. Wei Ruo frowned. Curved, with a charming smile. What are you talking about? Don't talk nonsense. Wei Yilin was anxious. What little idiot? It made his skin crawl. Isn't it? Then why are you stopping me from letting me go? Do you want to have a good chat with my sister and enhance our relationship? No, no, no. Wei Yilin hurriedly shook his head in denial. If you don't, go back obediently and go play with your favorite sister. Otherwise, I will really suspect that you are acting like a baby with me in a different way. Wei Yilin froze. Wei Ruo smiled lightly and turned around to enter the room. Wei Yilin, who was left behind, could only stare at Wei Ruo's back and sulk. After a long while, Wei Yilin ran to Wang Miwen to find Wei Qingguan to express his dissatisfaction with Wei Ruo. Sister, tell me, isn't that Wei Ruo a very village woman? How can Miss Qinjin grow vegetables in her yard and even climb the ladder to the top of the wall? Yilin is good, she may not be doing well, but as family members, we shouldn't say that about her. Wei Qingguan comforted. But she is very irritating. Wei Yilin couldn't help but think of what Wei Ruochu shamelessly said later, that he liked her as a sister and wanted to take the opportunity to strengthen his relationship with her, which made his skin crawl all over the ground. The more he thought about it, the more he said angry, the more I think about it, the more depressed I get. Yilin is not angry. Since you know what kind of person she is, there is no need to be angry with her about these things. If you make yourself angry, my sister will feel bad. Wei Qingguan touched Wei Yilin's head, and her gentle voice flowed into Wei Yilin's heart like a clear spring. Wei Yilin instantly felt that he was not so angry. Sister, you are so kind. Two people born at about the same time, you are in the same sky and the same place, the difference is too great. You. Wei Qingguan lightly tapped Wei Yilin's forehead with her index finger. Don't be so reckless in the future, and say such bad things. Big brother is right, those words should not be said in front of outsiders, let people know, but I want to find your fault. My sister doesn't want you to be punished by your parents for making mistakes. Understood, sister, I will restrain myself next time. It's not just restraint, it's about not going to trouble her. If she does something wrong, I will be taught by my parents and elder brother. You are a younger brother, so you shouldn't talk to her like this, do you know? Wei Qingguan instructed softly. Isn't it that elder brother asked me to give her sweet-scented osmanthus cake? She didn't appreciate it, so I couldn't hold back for a while. I swear when I first went, I really planned to have a good talk with her. Well, I know Yilin is very good. Fortunately, my parents didn't let her be the eldest daughter of our family. She is not qualified to be the eldest daughter of our family at all. Wei Yilin secretly rejoiced. Actually, this eldest daughter should give it to her. I am really ashamed that my parents love me so much. No, I think the decision of parents is the clearest. Sister, you should be the eldest daughter. Our whole family recognizes you. Wei Qingguan patted Wei Yilin's head, thank you Yilin for trusting me so much. Of course, since I can remember, the one who has accompanied me the most and taught me the most is my sister. If I don't trust you, who should I trust? Not long after Wei Yilin was born, Wei Mingting was transferred to Xingshan County. He was busy with business, Yun was also busy with many family matters, and Wei Yuchen was busy with studying, so Wei Qingguan was the one who accompanied Wei Yilin the most, and his relationship with Wei Qingguan was the strongest. Deep. Number Wei Ruo's small courtyard renovation plan went smoothly. Early this morning, Wei Ruo cut the sweet potato vines that had been sent out, and divided the loofah seedlings. Sweet potatoes are seeds in the space, and planting them can help her earn experience points. Loofahs, pumpkins, and gourds are just ready for planting season, and Wei Ruo likes the feeling of them climbing all over the shelves and hanging their fruits. After working for a while, Wei Ruogang sat down and took a sip of water. Yun's maid, Quipping, came over and invited Wei Ruo to Yun's room, saying that Yun had something to look for her. Seeing Quipping's expression, Wei Ruo sensed that something was going on. When they arrived at Yun's house, they saw that Wei Qingguan was already there. Looking at Yun's dignified expression again, Wei Ruo concluded that something really happened. Seeing Wei Ruo entering the door, Yun waved her hand, beckoning her to come to him. Wei Ruo got closer, but still kept a little distance. Ruoer, there's a letter from the capital. Your grandfather has already added your name to the genealogy. From now on, your official name will be Wei Qingruo. Yun's brows were furrowed, and his expression didn't look like he had only this one thing to say. Mom, what's the matter with you? Is there something bothering you? Wei Qingguan hurriedly asked softly. Yunqi looked at Wei Ruo and Wei Qingguan, hesitant to speak. After thinking for a long time, she opened her mouth. Wan, there is one more thing I want to tell you. Don't be sad after listening. Mother, tell me, I'm fine. Your grandfather meant that he wanted Ruoer to be the eldest daughter, and your name should be written after Ruoer. Hearing that Wei Ruo was a little surprised, although she thought that the old man might have different opinions on this matter, she didn't expect the old man to make such a straightforward decision, and she didn't discuss it with Wei Mingting and Yuns. Wei Qingguan was stunned, her face paled visibly, and then tears filled her eyes. Wan. Seeing her daughter like this, Yun's heart became more and more heavy. Mother. Wei Qingguan threw herself into Yun's arms, tears rolling down one after another like a broken pearl necklace. Yun's heart ached, and she didn't know how to comfort such a sad daughter. Wei Ruo helped her and said, in fact, the eldest daughter and the second daughter are not very important. The love of parents is the same, and there will be no less. Yun was stunned for a moment before realizing that this was what she said to Wei Ruo 2 days ago. Wei Ruo continued, and this is what Sister Qingguan asked for at the beginning. Now that her wish has come true, Sister Qingguan should also be happy. These are Wei Qingguan's original words. Wei Qingguan raised her head from Yun's embrace, and stared at Wei Ruo blankly. She looked very much like a wounded little rabbit. isn't it? Wei Ruo asked back. End of this chapter.